Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to another stream and yet another video. And what video? Another video working on this guy right here. That is the 427 SC Cobra. I don't know what the scale is, 124, 125, something like that. Let's just have a look at it and see what we're going with, okay? So, let me move this little guy out of the way. Some of you guys might recognize him, some of you guys may not, but another little project I'm working on. Anyway, we're working on the Cobra. I got the stripes done. As you might see in the reflection of the camera, it's got some nice glossy black stripes in the middle of this thing. And obviously, we've got some very chrome looking headlights. That's just paint on the headlights there. I've been kind of working on it and doing some painting and stuff like that, and just some touch-ups kind of thing. The hood is all ready to go. I just have it masked. I got masking tape on the underside there, just holding it on. We're going to put some chrome bits on today. All right, we're going to start working on the body. I did add some. Let me change the camera here and I'll point out a couple of things that I added since last time. Looking in the interior here, I added a couple of seat belts to the seats with their buckles. So that's that. I got the emergency brake installed in there, so you can see that proper angle there. You can see that emergency brake sitting there. That's really about it. That's all I really did since last time, other than getting the stripes painted on. Again, all I did, you guys saw me masking it off last time, and all I did was spray it with Tamiya Clear to give me some nice black stripes that are a big contrast to the flat black that's on this thing, right? And that's all that is. It's just clear. So yeah, that's that. So we're gonna work on some chrome stuff, put on some little bits and bytes on our body today, and I'm not sure how much we're going to get done, but we're going to see. Okay, so starting off, it wants us to put on the windshield first. I'm not going to do that because of all the manipulating I need to do with the body. I want to kind of put the windshield on maybe towards the end or something like that. So because there's other parts of the windows, like the visors and the little side windows that go on there, I want to wait on those. So what are we going to do? Well, we can start with these two little hood pin thingies. I've already taken them off the sprue. I did that a little bit earlier today. So we have our little collection of some chrome bits in here, and some of them are really tiny, some of them not so bad. Yeah, so another thing we can do, if we go back up here, we can start on the front end and do our headlights, our little bumper thingies and stuff like that, and we can work on the back. So we're going to start doing that thing, I think, today. We'll get started on those and we'll go from there. So the headlights, really all they give us was the rings. Usually they'll actually have the bucket of the light in a model kit. These guys chose not to, which is why I had to paint the insides of these light buckets chrome. Otherwise it would look really strange being black on the inside there. So this is going to just go on like that. Okay, and then there'll be a clear lens that goes over top. So what I did after taking this off the sprue, I scraped away the chrome off of the trim where it's actually going to come in contact with the body, and got that in there so that the glue will actually stick and we'll have something to stick to. Okay, and it's just going to sit in just like that. Okay, just like that. And actually it's going to hold. It's pretty tight fit, so I'm just going to get a little bit of thin set on there. I'm going to move my coffee so I'm not going to knock it over here. Move this over. Okay, I'm actually going to change my glasses. Okay. So, headlight bezel is on there. Well, it was until I kind of pressed on it a little bit. So it's basically just going to sit like that. Utilizing the capillary action of the extra thin glue. And just get it to flow in there where it needs to be. And just let it do its thing and leave it. Now, of course, chrome parts coming off of a black sprue, you get the little nubs and little telltale signs that this thing is not fully chrome. You get little black nubs, right? And so you got to clean those up and decide what you're going to do. Of course, the chrome that I am using is the Molotow liquid chrome, and that's what I did to paint the inside of the buckets. Okay, and it looks very good. It's a very, very chrome looking paint, and I love it. The problem is it's also very delicate, so you don't want to touch it after you've painted it. At least as minimal as possible. It goes from chrome to silver very quickly, right? And so you don't really want to touch it and manipulate it and all that kind of stuff. You want it to be kind of the last thing you do, right? So there's a little nub right there, a little spot. If I really worried about that, I can just put a little dab of the chrome paint on there to get rid of it. And of course there will be one down here on the opposite side because it was connected on the sprue on two spots, right? So yeah, so let's grab the other light bezel. You might be able to see this one a little bit better. Right there is a nub mark right there, right? So yeah, decide if you need to clean that up or not. Sometimes on parts like this you can kind of rotate it and maybe hide that nub mark somewhere, and so that you never see it. Other parts you don't get that luxury, right? Something like these light bezels, I'm not really going to be able to hide them by turning them around, so it is what it is, right? A little bit of glue on there so that it'll stay. Hopefully it stays. Okay. A little bit on here on this side. That glue flowing in that crack. There we go. Yeah, see, can really see the nub there. I can see it. Maybe the camera can't really pick it up so well. If I get the camera to focus, I could maybe zoom in, but it's not that important. You get the idea. There's a little nub mark there. There's a little nub mark there. So a little dab with the chrome, and that'll clean that up. Okay, so that's those. Now, let's take out our clear parts. We've got our headlight bezels, or actual headlights, sorry. And those I have over here. So here's our headlights, and this is why I needed to paint the inside chrome, because these lenses are very, very see-through, and they just wouldn't look right if I had left the insides black. It's a strange looking light. I don't know what that light is for. There are a few things that come in this kit that make me kind of wonder, what is that for? And other things I have no clue at all. Some of them, it's fairly, you look at the instructions, you go, oh yeah, okay, that's what that is. Okay, so I want to clean up the edge of this light, but I want to do it with my razor file, because it cleans things up really nice and lets you control very easily, and it does it without stressing the plastic. Just like that, and those nubs are gone. I would recommend, if you're going to be building any kind of kits where the nubs are going to be exposed, and you want something to really get rid of them nicely, I recommend the razor file. Okay, the razor glass file. This thing is awesome. It's a little expensive, but it's well worth it. I'll put a link in my video description down below. You can check it out. It comes from, I believe the company's called Gun Primer, if I remember correctly. It was about a year ago when I bought it. Okay, so you want to kind of have your lights, these lenses, you can really see the detail of all the little lines inside that lens, and so I want to try and make them both the same. And lined up as close as possible to actual vertical or horizontal. A little bit tricky. Okay. I'm just do a very light touch on there, and hopefully that got it. Okay. Now this kind of falls into that same category of doing the canopies on airplanes. I see a lot of guys use white glue on those. I personally have not had any issue with the Tamiya glues causing like clouding. Now, of course, now that I've said that, this just might prove me wrong. So you can tell it looks a little bit white, but that's okay, because that's the way lights are, right? Lights are white. Okay, next one. Let's drop that down in there. See how lined up I am. Almost. That looks pretty close, just like that. It's very easy, just a slight little touch and it rotates it. Very loose in there. And I want to try and get it as close to horizontal as possible. Now that was a big drop of glue that went in there. I could literally see it go all the way around the edge. So I'm not going to put any extra on this one. And so there we go. There's our two lights. Two headlights in there. Okay, what else we got to put on the front end? We have our signal lights. C15 is the chrome part, and then G6 would be the clear. And I think these little square boxes are color callouts to what the colors are supposed to be. So what they're calling for H92, and that is the amber. Okay, so they want these to be amber, H92, and then H90 are tail lights. I'm assuming those are going to be red. Yep. So I do have clear. Let's put the lid back on that. Let's grab our clear. I have Tamiya's clear red. It's been so long it's getting dust on it. Clear red and clear amber. Okay, I have those. Let's just move that so I can get at my brushes. I'll use this guy, I think. Okay, so these are our amber signal lights, and then these are our tail lights. So let's shake this up. I have not had a use for these clear paints in quite a while. And it's been so long I don't even have my ball bearings in there. Normally I keep ball bearings in these paints so they shake up nice and good. So it's been that long, so let's just move this out of my way here. I'm going to put them in now. So I got my stainless steel ball bearings here. That really, it adds a nice agitator for when your pigment is settled at the bottom of the jar. That really shakes it up good. Okay, there's that one. Has it got anything in it? Nope. Yeah. So let's put one of these in there too. Doink. All right. That's better. All right. Orange. Just like that, done. Now I'm going to cheat. I'm not going to use thinner and clean my brush. I'm just going to wipe it off. And do the taillights. One thing I have noticed is these clear colors from Tamiya, they seem to be a little thicker than normal. So if you need to spray it, you really need to add a lot of thinner to them. Okay. Now on those windows, those side windows that go here on the sides, or not the sides, the visors. They want you to tint those. H8. What's the color on those? H8. You call it silver. That's not right. They're not supposed to be silver. Oh, I'm sorry. They're just referring to the little tabs where they mount. That's my mistake. But I've seen the car in real life, and those things are tinted. Or I'm sorry, I've seen that car, the real life car in pictures. Let me rephrase that. I've seen the real life car in pictures, and the visors are tinted. I don't really remember what color. I think they're tinted a green on some cars. But I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so I did not get the front signal light lenses or the chrome part of the lights off of the sprue yet. And so that is G7 and 15. No, C15. C15. So that's these two guys right here. Now in order to get them to stick to the car, I need to scrape off the chrome. Okay, I'll do it right on the sprue here. You need to just scrape the chrome off so that the glue can stick. How you go about scraping it is up to you. You can be like me and use their knife. It's really up to you, but you need to scrape the chrome off. Otherwise, the glue can't do its job in melting the plastic. The chrome acts like a barrier. And so you need to scrape it off. As I said, it's up to you. You can use a knife, you can use a file, whatever tools you have at your disposal is really up to you. Sometimes using the tip of the knife, you're just basically putting tiny little micro scratches. So you want to use like a flat edge. My blade happens to have the very point kind of broken off, so I have a bit of a very flat edge I can use at the tip of my knife here to help me just kind of scrape this chrome off. Okay, I need to do the same with the taillights. These ones are the taillight lenses. We're going to be the chrome housings for them. So I'm going to do the same with these, since I'm right in the middle of doing this anyway. Alright, so if you can get the knife at a good angle where you get a good flat surface, it makes short work of doing this, and it makes life pretty easy. Here we go. Okay. Alright, so now we have some options. I can put the lenses right on these, right here where they are, or I can put these on the car and then the lenses. It doesn't really matter. I think just for making things a little easier, I'll put them on right there. Tamiya paint, yep, it's dried already. That's awesome. Thank you, Tamiya, for making paints that are so easy to work with. Okay, let's put that there. Put that there. And we'll get these off of here. Okay, let's put that aside. Now, I'm going to do a similar thing. Sometimes we can get away with picking things up with the tweezers, and sometimes we can't. Sometimes things get lost to tweezer fire. There we go. So that's going to sit just like that. So I'm going to take this off of here, because what I want to do is actually put a little dab of glue on there. Instead of doing the thin set, just do that with a little dab of glue. And I'll see if I can pick this up again. There we go. And that one's set. They're both set. Perfect. I want to test fit our tail lights. So it's going to sit just like that. And that works for me. I'll do the same thing. And you might be wondering, okay, so if you need to scrape off the chrome, how come you're not scraping off the chrome to put the lights on? And that's a good question. It's because these aren't going to see a lot of action. Okay? They're just little lenses. A little too much glue on that one, but that's okay. This one should be good now. There we go. So there's our lights. So these two have had a minute or so to dry, so I should be able to get them off the sprue. Without really causing any harm. Okay. We'll look at our front here. Now they're going to go here and here. So again, you have a choice. Put a glue on there and then put them in. So you're going to go like that. Or you can put them on and use the thin set. I think I'm going to go with the former on this one. Because they are big enough of a thing for me to actually hold. So I'll do that, put a little dab of glue and put them in and just leave it like that. Light number one. Another little dab of glue. And that's light number two. Alright. One thing I've yet to do, I still have to paint my intercooler inside there, which you cannot see because it's black, but there's an intercooler in there, and I need to paint that. Okay. Now that the taillights have had a minute or so to dry a little bit here, let's get these off of the sprue. Okay. Now the tail lights, they have one rectangular slot and they're going to go on each corner here. Because it's a different shaped hole, I just want to make sure they're going to fit flush, and yeah, that's going to be a perfect fit. So There's one. And there's two. There's our taillights. Now these actually have holes that go all the way through, so you could theoretically put your finger on there and use the thin set and go in from the back. And that would be one way that you can install your taillights. Okay, what else we got? Got a couple of other things in here. We got our little hood pins. These ones I'm not going to bother taking the chrome off because the little pegs to get them in the holes are so small. And so these guys here, they're going to go in that hole and that hole there. Okay. So I want to see what they show for the orientation. Okay. Actually, I am going to try and scrape some of that chrome off. If I can get just a little bit. Try and turn it around. Get this side. It doesn't take a lot to scrape the chrome off. The chrome on this kit's pretty light. Okay. There's one. Small parts are always if you've got big man hands, it can be a little bit daunting to hold on to these tiny little parts like this. That's why, oh, this one's trying to disappear on me. This one almost fell into the abyss. There we go. Our two hood pins are in. All right. Taking a look at the front of the car, we have our headlight bezels in. The headlights are in. We've got our signal lights in. We've got our two little front bumper mount things, B30 and 31. These ones are not chrome. They're molded in black, and they're on this sprue here. So I took that Molotow chrome and I painted these guys chrome. So they want, for the front, we want 30 and 31, so that's going to be this one and this one. Now they look identical, so I don't think there's any difference between 30 and 31. Now, as I mentioned before, with the Molotow chrome, it's very delicate, and so I want to handle these as little as possible. We have the mounting holes for them on each side of the grill opening here and here, and the holes don't go through all the way, so I can't use I can't glue in from the back, so I have to glue them from the front. That's not really going to be an issue, except it might be difficult to hold them in place without mucking up the chrome. So we're going to see. I can just do that. So, with minimal touching on the actual part, we're going to do that. Get my glue ready here. As I said, some glue on our two little pegs. We want it lined up straight. There we go. So there's one. Okay, just like that. So grab this one now. Glue on that one. Instead of trying to not touch it, touching it as least as possible. They're both lined up. If I can look straight through this side and I can see they're lined up, they're straight, they're both straight. So that's the main thing right there and there. Of course, hitting it on my way to show you is not good. All right, that's those. I think the front end, other than a license plate, which I'm going to leave the license plate off because that's just going to be really ugly. So yeah, that's finished. The front end is done. Okay, other than obviously painting that. So we can move to the back of the car, and we can put those brackets on the back. Similar fashion, two little divots there and there, and that's where they're going to go. So let's grab that. right. Same deal. Grab it like that. For a moment there, I thought I had it upside down. I think I'm going to have to see, it sits at a weird angle, and I don't know if that's correct. I set that like that. It's really... You guys see that? That's a weird angle. Let me get up by a dark shirt there. It's kind of a weird angle that it's sitting at. I'm not sure if it's the way it's supposed to be. It doesn't look right to me. The fronts are pretty much vertical, or pretty close, right? Or they're actually facing down just a little bit, but the backs are sitting way out. So I'm actually going to take my pin vise and I'm going to drill out the bottom holes a little bit on that. I'm not sure how accurate this is to the way it's supposed to be, but accurate or not, this is what I'm doing. I need the right one. That's the right one. Okay. So I'm just going to drill this out. This one too. Okay. So that will let me adjust the depth on that bottom hole. That's much better. That looks a lot better. Much, much better. So the top is still gonna restrict how deep it'll go in, but now the bottom I can adjust to make it more. That's much better looking. It's not such a weird angle now, right? That's better. Now this one I'll just line up like that, and we're done. Perfect. Just like that. Much better. Get that angle there. You can see they line up nicely. It's perfect. Okay. More kibble and bits for the back. What else we got? For the back, we've got the taillights in. So we've got C5 is, I guess, the latch to open the trunk. And then C4 is a license plate light. And then, of course, C13 is a gas tank, which I already have in here. Doink. This one sits kind of sideways like that. I've already scraped the chrome off of it. So there we go. We've got our gas tank lid, and I need to be careful with what I'm doing here. So I felt this move. Just as I set the car down on an angle like this and then set it down, I felt this move. So I need to re-glue that now. This time I need to use my thin to just dab in there. There. Very carefully. And we're good. Back in the game. Okay. And now I'll just be a little more careful. Okay. Our little trunk opening thing. That is number, where are we here? C5. That's this tiny little guy here. This guy is tiny, and I cannot tell which side is the pin. The way they show it in the picture is a little bit different than the actual molding. The mold actually looks like it's a little bit of a T. And so I'm not sure if that's a little peg right there for where it's supposed to mount in. I'm not sure. I think that's it right there. This is where it's supposed to mount, so I'm going to try and scrape off a little bit of the chrome on that. If I can just lightly get rid of the chrome on this edge. Okay. I want to try and hold it as I cut it off. Because it is very delicate and small. This one here is for our license plate light number 4. And it's got a little nub sticking out of it to go into the hole, which means this is a surface that's mounting against the car. So let's scrape the chrome off of that. Now, if you can get the chrome off of the actual nub that goes into the hole, that's actually the best. But you can't always do that. You don't always have that luxury, right? because a lot of times that little pin sticking out, the moment you try and scrape it, it breaks off. And that happens quite a lot. There's our tiny little piece there. So this guy is very small and delicate, which means he's going to be risking that. It's in that little hole. Very delicate. This hole does go all the way through. And because I've moved it a few times, it kind of wants to not hold properly. So from the back, there we go. It's not exactly straight. I'll try to straighten it. There we go. There's our little trunk latch. And I'm going to hope that holds. I anticipate losing it at some point and not even noticing, because it's so small. It's going to be very easy to lose it and not even know. Our license plate light is going to go up into this hole. Fortunately, it's a much bigger piece. And should be a little more forgiving. There's our license plate light. Okay. We can put our actual license plate on. That is off of the D tree. That's D number 2. Let's see if I can find those. D number 2 right here. Still in primer gray, but I think I am going to I'm going to scrape the primer off, and I'm not going to paint it. I'm just going to leave this black. So let's get rid of the primer on this. Oh, of course I could paint it black. Doesn't really matter. I'm going to put a decal over this, so you're not going to see it anyway. There we go. Oh, a little spot mist. There we go. Now the back of this might be visible. Let's take a little test fit here. No, I don't think it's going to be visible. Once it's on there, it's just going to be like that. Maybe I should do it in aluminum. Two holes from the back. I'm just going to do this. Doink, doink. It's going to be held by its two pegs. There we go. License plate is fitted. You can see it there in the contrast against the gloss stripes. Bingo. Okay. I believe that concludes the front and rear of the car. Front, double check, that's done. Rear, that's done, including the gas cap. Okay. Let's go back and have a double check. Looking at the top, we have a rear view mirror. That's B7. Goes right in the center, right there. B7, again, was not a chrome part. It's this guy right there. And I've painted him chrome. Before I actually put glue on it, I am just going to do a quick little test fit to make sure it fits in that little hole. And it fits perfect. So there we go. Here's our mirror. I'm going to grab the windshield because I just want to make sure we're not going to interfere with the fitment of the windshield. Looks like we're going to be okay. Yeah, that looks fine. Okay. We'll get to the windshield in a minute. We're going to do the roll bar now. Roll bar is two pieces. We've got our main loop right there, and then we've got the rear brace right here. Okay. I'm just gonna finish my coffee here. All right. Now, you notice the rear bar has one that's sticking down and one that's not. The one that's longer obviously goes to the back of the car because the car has that curve, right? So this one's got to go like this. It's basically like that. And then our rear one, we have the peg here that's going to go down in the car itself, and then this one is going to go up into the top of the roll bar right there like that. Okay, so I'm not going to scrape the chrome off of this and this because I want it to retain its chrome qualities there, but we're going to have glue. I scraped it off on the pegs here and here already, and I also scraped it off of this peg, so we're good to go that way. These holes, of course, are the ones I drilled myself, so they do go all the way through, right? So I can go like this, kind of just hold it, and do that, and we're good to go. Just like that. This one, however, I'm going to have to do this Oops. See, that's terrible. This is the tricky part. I think we got it. Not quite. All right, roll bars on. Yay. Done. Okay, let's have a look at our little side windows. They want us to do some painting on them and paint up those little brackets. Okay, but I gotta check something here. I might have to get going. And I do have to get going. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, looking at our clear parts, I'm going to paint these little brackets here, 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 and these four also, there, 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 and there. I'm going to paint those up. I'm going to look at some pictures online to see what color these should be tinted. If they're just a smoke color or if they're actually tinted a particular color, I'm going to take a look at some pictures online and get those done and get those painted up. And that, guys, is where we're going to leave it for this week. We're almost there. That's the last parts to go on the body, is the windshield, the glass, and rearview mirrors. Now I'm kind of on the fence whether I'm actually going to put the rearview mirrors on, because there are no provisions in the body for the mirrors. Okay, there's no holes. There might be underneath. No, there's nothing. There's no indents or nothing, no indications of where you're actually supposed to locate your mirrors. So I'm thinking maybe I don't need a rearview mirror, right? I mean, yeah, I could. Maybe I'll just put one on the driver's side and that'll be good enough. But yeah, that's it. That's going to be next time, okay? And then, of course, we got decals to put on, but that's it. So our body is 90% complete, except for my bracket that is been accidentally pushed because I bumped it. But we're okay. We are okay. Rear brackets are perfect. So yeah, that's where I'm going to leave it. I want to thank you guys for watching and thanks for coming out. I want to thank you for the new subscribers that I got this week. You guys are awesome. And again, welcome to the channel and welcome to my videos. For the other 80% of you that are not subscribed, who watch my videos and you're not subscribed, why not hit that subscribe button? Just do that. And then you can also check out my Instagram. After I finish every build, I go and I take a few pictures of the thing and I upload it onto my Instagram. So you can check those out if you feel like it too. Links down below. Yeah, and like I said earlier, I'll put a link down below to where you might be able to get that Razor glass file if you guys are interested in that kind of thing. Yeah, check it out, see what you like. Leave a comment, hit that like button, and thanks again for watching, guys, and we'll see you all in the next one.